again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Check and 12, we'll check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2
Also still staying for time? No? Okay, you're in custody? Please come forward with it. Okay, if anyone else calls, might just rest up, let me know. The 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter.
Thank you, everybody, for hopping in real quick. We got a quick jump in to get into here. We're going to be checking out the special report that just came out here shortly regarding this parade. There's some updates that they have, and we're going to check it out real quick. Thank you for hopping in. I appreciate you. This is newest details that are just coming out with this case.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Vladimir Duthier. We're coming on the air as officials in Kansas City, Missouri are about to give an update on the deadly shooting at the end of the Chiefs' victory Super Bowl parade yesterday. One person, popular local DJ Lisa Lopez Galvan, was killed by a gunshot wound. More than 20.
A popular DJ.
Also shot during the incident of the Chiefs' victory Super Bowl parade yesterday. One person, popular local DJ Lisa Lopez Galvan, was killed by gunshot wound. More than 20 others were also shot during the incident, including 9 children. Police say 3 people are in custody and have recovered 1 firearm. Here's now Kansas City officials, including the mayor. Let's listen.
You will have more information on that in our conversation that comes up shortly. A few things to note, and the chief will cover a bit later. If you have questions about property or other information relating to belongings that were left at Union Station, please call the city's 311 information line. Please do not call the police department's line in connection with that information. The other thing that we wanted to note were mental health resources for anyone who feels concerns from yesterday's events. Please call 988, and that's how we can connect you with services. We also will be making victim advocacy services available following this crisis. With that, we'll come back for questions after the police chief and the fire chief speak. With that, I'll turn it over to Police Chief Stacey Graves.
What's up, Beckles?
Police Chief Stacey Graves. As you know, yesterday we experienced a tragic event during a time that was meant for celebration. The law enforcement response was exemplary. Those in attendance also responded. They helped one another and even physically stopped a person who was believed to be involved in the incident. I want to thank the people who acted bravely yesterday alongside law enforcement, to include the Kansas City Fire Department. Your selfless act did not go unnoticed. Thank you, Kansas City. I'm angered by what occurred in our city yesterday, but I'm also thankful for the response. Members of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, the Kansas City Fire Department, city officials, federal partners, and many others have worked around the clock investigating this incident. All of their hard work and dedication has allowed me the opportunity to provide you this update today. First and foremost, I want to stress that preliminary investigative findings have shown there was no nexus to terrorism or homegrown violent extremism. This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire. During the overnight hours, we learned there are 23 victims of yesterday's shooting. One of our victims, Elizabeth Galvin, 43 years old, died. We are still learning about her, but know that she is beloved by many. To her friends and family, we are with you, and we are working tirelessly to investigate her murder. The 22 victims' age ranged between 8 years old and 47 years old. At least half of our victims are under the age of 16. As mentioned yesterday, we have subjects detained, 2 of which are juveniles. We are working to determine the involvement of others. And it should be noted, we have recovered several firearms. This incident is still a very active investigation. We ask anyone in the vicinity of the shooting that directly witnessed the shooting incident, has any video of the shooting incident, or is a victim of the shooting who has not yet reported to police, please call this dedicated line, 816-413-3477. I know there are many more questions that you all want answers to that I may not have answered just yet. It's critical that we protect the integrity of this case so that we can bring justice to the victims, their families, and everyone else involved. It should also be noted we are also working closely with our Jackson County Prosecutor's Office. Yeah. We're going to pass this on to Chief Grundison from the fire department.
What was that?
Good morning. I'm Fire Chief Ross Grundison. Yesterday, Kansas City units, along with our mutual aid partners,
What's up, Kid?
treated a total of 22 victims of the shooting incident.
So
we had
22.
one fatality that was on scene, 8 critical, 7 serious, and 6 patients with minor injuries. All the critical patients were transported off the scene within 10 minutes of our point of contact with them. We transported to Children's Mercy, University of Health, and St. Luke's on the Plaza. KCFD had a plan in place, and we were ready to respond to an incident like this. At the time of the shooting, we had approximately 8 personnel from KCFD and KC Medical who were assisting us in the immediate area. Some of those members were within 40 feet of where the shooting took place. These members did not run for cover, but stayed on scene to treat and triage the injured while additional KCFD units ran to their assistance. I am very grateful and proud of the service of these crews that worked this terrible incident. They gave their partners that we worked with on this incident. Very grateful for their assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Chief, I wanted to ask you about a comment you made.
And after this, there's another new breaking news update as well. We're gonna check out
Yesterday, because you said this is not Kansas City, and you just mentioned that this was an argument apparently that escalated. We had a similar situation just happened right around the corner at Crown Center less than a month ago. Last year we set a record for homicides in this community with 182. So isn't gun violence, in fact, very much a part of what
they set a record last year for homicide.
We do face gun violence here in Kansas City, but my note of this is not Kansas City is in we had likely 1 million people down in and around this celebration. To have the ability to have that many people in our downtown area with I don't want to minimize this event, but that's Kansas City. That is 1 million people that are able to come together for a celebration. Again, you have just a handful, or I don't have a specific number of actors in this that perpetrated the violence that played out.
Do you have arrests? Because my understanding, you can only hold these folks for so long.
Correct.
Charge them. Have you charged them yet?
We have not charged them yet. This is still under investigation. We do have 24 hours until we have to either file charges or release them.
So that'll happen today.
Again, we are working closely with the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office to present the most successful case for prosecution.
Is there issues with linking them to the actual shooting? Do you have enough evidence at this point to make the arrest?
So some of those questions, I'm not able to give a direct answer just because I want to protect the integrity of this investigation. My focus right now and what is most important to us is to make sure that everything in this case is presented for successful prosecution. So some of those questions, I'm hesitant to.
I think the answer is she's not.
Wait, hold on a second, Mr. Mayor. It seems like we are so many hours from the shooting, and at this point, you're not announcing an arrest. I just don't understand.
We have subjects that are detained, like I said earlier. That is under investigation. We have detectives that have worked overnight and through the night that are still upstairs right now working with our Jackson County prosecutors.
What?
For the furtherance of this investigation.
I have enough.
That we have all intentions of presenting charges.
Okay, I understand. The other thing I wanted to ask you about the individuals. Were they part of a gang? Was this some kind of gang crew situation?
The relationship between the subjects involved, that's still under investigation.
Can you tell us?
Go after the lady.
You're good. Go.
For the 3 suspects or the 3 people you currently have in custody, were they known to Kansas City
3
prior to this, or any federal law enforcement or other law enforcement?
That is also under investigation.
Chief, can you tell us the locations?
They got 3.
There was more than one location where the shootings took place, correct? Can you tell us that?
Initial reports were that there was more than one location. It really is. That's not the case. It was mostly on the west side of Union Station. I had another question.
You made it sound like you're not sure at this point how many people may have been involved. Does that mean there are potentially more shooters out
being open right now?
What that is, if I could clarify that, is that we are not closing the door and giving direct numbers on this. This is still an active investigation. We are still asking the public that if anyone witnessed the shooting directly, to still contact police. We want to make sure that anyone that was responsible for yesterday is brought to justice.
Chief, can you elaborate? Could you tell us again the name of the victim?
Elizabeth Galvin.
And how old is she?
She's 43.
43 years old. Okay, and what exact time did the shooting when was that reported and where exactly did it happen?
It was approximately, I believe, maybe 1:50 p.m. I'm not completely sure on exactly when the shots were fired, but it was at the conclusion of the celebration rally. Yes, sir.
Chief, can you elaborate at all on the firearms that were recovered on the scene?
Right now, I am not going to elaborate on that just yet. There were several firearms that were recovered.
Mr. Mayor,
ATF been able to leave historically, and they have.
Be able to have that weapon in public.
Minors should not be in possession of weapons.
One of the weapons, sir, this morning I was watching local news. You were talking about a high-powered weapon, juveniles. People shouldn't have. Is that something that was a high-powered weapon used in this incident?
I think the chief explained right now there's still an investigation as to the firearms. Firearms have been retrieved, and then we'll learn more about it. To the extent that I was speaking towards it, it was from listening to sounds of gunfire, both in person and certainly in connection with what I have since seen in video as well. But we'll have all that information.
So there's video of this?
If there was a long gun, I know you haven't said so, but there've been some.
Is there video of this?
AR or something to that effect. If there's a long weapon, wouldn't that be something that you have hundreds of police officers there? Wouldn't that be something they would potentially be able to spot before it's even used?
I think our police officers did an outstanding job yesterday. I'm not here to second guess any part of that work. I know that we will review this situation like we do any other incident to make sure that we can keep the people of Kansas City safe in future times. Yes?
Last question about the victims that were hospitalized. Do we have an update on how many were discharged, specifically the 9 gunshot wound victims that were children?
We don't have the updates on the conditions of the children that were hospitalized.
Chief, was there additional shootings that happened near around the rally?
I didn't hear you.
Were there any additional shootings that took place before or around the rally?
Yesterday, it was mentioned that there was a shooting in and around 27th and Gillum, that area. And we were also asked if that had anything to do with this shooting. Right now, we don't have any information that those are related, but that's under investigation.
Was there a consideration of having men?
All right, we're going to switch to the latest breaking news. This just came out, this is still ongoing, I believe.
A few things to note, and the chief will cover a bit later. If you have questions about property or other information relating to belongings that were left at Union Station, please call the city's 311 information line. Please
cover the Kansas City parade shooting that happened yesterday, just after the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory. And a short time ago, we did hear from Kansas City Police Chief as well as the mayor. For those of you who are just joining us here on live now.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing. I have an interview with one person that took down a shooter. We'll have that one coming up. If you have anything you want to send me, please do let me know if you send it to me. And also, is there video? Is there video of this taking place? Let me know. It's probably on Twitter.
Now from Fox, we do want to play you those remarks in their entirety in case you did not have a chance to take a listen. So we are going to pot up the sound as we see the mayor and the chief take to the podium. Let's once again listen in.
All right, is everybody ready? Again, Quentin Lucas, the mayor of Kansas City. I'm joined by Chief of Police Stacey Graves, Kansas City Fire Chief Ross Grundison. We're here to give an update on both the investigation, victim information to the extent we have available now, and the ongoing work being done in Kansas City in response to yesterday's shooting incident. Our condolences continue to go out to all those who have been impacted, including the decedent. You will have more information on that in our conversation that comes up shortly. A few things to note, and the chief will cover a bit later. If you have questions about property or other information relating to belongings that were left at Union Station, please call the city's 311 information line. Please do not call the police department's line in connection with that information. The other thing that we wanted to note were mental health resources for anyone who feels concerns from yesterday's events. Please call 988, and that's how we can connect you with services. We also will be making victim advocacy services available following this crisis. With that, we'll come back for questions after the police chief and the fire chief speak. With that, I'll turn it over to Police Chief Stacey Graves.
Police Chief Stacey Graves. As you know, yesterday, we experienced a tragic event during a time that was meant for celebration. The law enforcement response was exemplary. Those in attendance also responded. They helped one another and even physically stopped a person who was believed to be involved in the incident. I want to thank the people who acted bravely yesterday alongside law enforcement, to include the Kansas City Fire Department. Your selfless act did not go unnoticed. Thank you, Kansas City. I'm angered by what occurred in our city yesterday, but I'm also thankful for the response. Members of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, the Kansas City Fire Department, city officials, federal partners, and many others have worked around the clock investigating this incident.
What is this, like a DC sniper kind of situation? Is that what this is? Remember the DC sniper? Wasn't he like didn't he have like custody of this child? And then he taught him how to frickin' snipe people from a trunk? Is that what this situation is? 2 juveniles, 1 adult, possibly more? What the hell is this?
All of their hard work and dedication has allowed me the opportunity to provide you this update today. I want to thank the Attorney General, the Governor, the Mayor, and numerous other elected officials, as well as numerous chiefs of police for reaching out to me directly, offering support, assistance, to include federal resources to assist in this investigation. First and foremost, I want to stress that preliminary investigative findings have shown there was no nexus to terrorism or homegrown violent extremism. This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire. During the overnight hours, we learned there are 23 victims of yesterday's shooting. One of our victims, Elizabeth Galvin, 43 years old, died. We are still learning about her, but know that she is beloved by many. To her friends and family, we are with you, and we are working tirelessly to investigate her murder. The 22 victims' age ranged between 8 years old and 47 years old. At least half of our victims are under the age of 16. As mentioned yesterday, we have subjects detained, 2 of which are juveniles.
Over a dispute.
We are working to determine the involvement of others. And it should be noted, we have recovered several firearms. This incident is still a very active investigation.
Sup, Rockchild?
We ask anyone in the vicinity of the shooting that directly witnessed the shooting incident, has any video of the shooting incident, or is a victim of the shooting who has not yet reported to police, please call this dedicated line, 816.
So it was like what, a gang activity that spilled into the parade? A dispute?
413-3477. I know there are many more questions that you all want answers to that I may not have answered just yet. It's critical that we protect the integrity of this case so that we can bring justice to the victims, their families, and everyone else involved. It should also be noted we are also working closely with our Jackson County Prosecutor's Office.
Chief,
Yeah.
not yet.
We're going to pass this on to Chief Grundison from the Fire Department.
So, what, two people from different cliques ran into each other at the party and then an argument escalated into a shooting? Is that?
Good morning. I'm Fire Chief Ross Grundison. Yesterday, Kansas City units, along with our mutual aid partners, treated a total of 22 victims of the shooting incident. We had 1 fatality that was on scene, 8 critical, 7 serious, and 6 patients with minor injuries. All the critical patients were transported off the scene within 10 minutes of our point of contact with them. We transported to Children's Mercy, University Health, and St. Luke's on the Plaza. KCFD had a plan in place, and we were ready to respond to an incident like this. At the time of the shooting, we had approximately 8 personnel from KCFD and KC Medical who were assisting us in the immediate area. Some of those members were within 40 feet of where the shooting took place. These members did not run for cover, but stayed on scene to treat and triage the injured while additional KCFD units ran to their assistance.
Why wouldn't they be arrested already, though?
And proud of the service of these crews that worked this terrible incident. They gave their all yesterday, like they do every day in this city. And again, put the public's lives above their own. And we're grateful for that. I also want to say thanks to all the mutual aid partners that we worked with on this incident. Very grateful for their assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Chief, I wanted to ask you about a comment you made yesterday, because you said this is not Kansas City. And you just mentioned that this was an argument, apparently, that escalated. We had a similar situation just happened right around the corner at Brown Center less than a month ago. Last year, we set a record for homicides in this community with 182. So isn't gun violence, in fact, very much a part of what we face here in Kansas City routinely?
We do face gun violence here in Kansas City. But my note of this is not Kansas City is in we had likely 1 million people down in and around this celebration. To have the ability to have that many people in our downtown area with.
Oh, this is what we just watched. It's just from a different angle. Okay, it's just a clip of it. Let me go back to this. This is them finishing the conversation here.
Horrific details coming to light in that press conference around what Police Chief Graves called a tragic event during a time meant for celebration. Police say there is no nexus to terrorism, which is an important detail. It does appear at this point in the investigation to be a dispute that devolved into gunfire. Chief Graves also saying that the ages of the victims range from 8 years old to 47 years old. And here's a startling statistic, startling detail about what the chief had to say. Half of the victims are under the age of 16. We know that there has been 1 fatality. In fact, Lisa Lopez Galvan is deceased. She was a beloved DJ in the Kansas City area. CBS News correspondent Charlie DeMar is at the scene. He's been there since the incident took place. Charlie, we're just showing a picture there of Lisa Lopez Galvan. I saw a post on the station where she works, a beloved DJ, someone who hosted a show every single day. Folks in Kansas City say she was a light.
So loved, and so many stories coming out about her today. And as you heard the police chief say a few minutes ago, making it very clear that the shooting appears to be a dispute between a few individuals. There's at least 2 juveniles currently in custody. Charges, though, have not been brought yet. Police say they are still working to try and determine and gather more evidence. We're really at ground zero for where the shooting took place, just west of Union Station. And we've seen police out here all morning gathering evidence. They have this street roped off of the youngest victims. Police making it very clear that this does not appear to be homegrown terrorism or extremism in any way, Vlad.
Yeah, and Charlie, the police chief, along with the mayor, saying that several firearms have been recovered, which is also another interesting detail. They do have 1 suspect, as you indicated, in custody, and they are urging the public to reach out to police officials with any information. Charlie DeMar on the ground for us. Thank you, Charlie. We appreciate it. All right, former FBI Special Agent Catherine Schweit is joining us now. Catherine is also the author of Stop the Killing, How to End the Mass Shooting Crisis. This is a question that people are going to be asking themselves over and over, Catherine, in this country. Earlier this morning on CBS Mornings, we interviewed Mayor Quentin Lucas, and he told us this is not the type of situation and the type of place that he wants to raise his children in with the amount of guns that are on the streets today. What can you tell us about what is next in the investigation?
Well, there's guns on the street in every city in the United States. So that's its own challenge for the investigators right now. They want to tie this up really quickly. And I know as a former prosecutor, you can't charge until you're ready to go, but you want to make sure that you know, are these juveniles? Are they going to be adult charges? This is clearly, I think, it appears that just a conflict between individuals, and because they had guns in their hands, they were able to fire at each other. And I think it's a caution for everybody who has a concealed carry and carries a weapon around to recognize that when you bring a gun into a situation that's crowded, you could potentially hurt a lot of innocent people, even in your efforts to kind of try to protect yourself or your.
Lady, they're not thinking that shit. They're not thinking that shit. Come on now. All right, there's more breaking news. I mean, there's like another 4 or 5 videos that just came out about this. We're going to be switching to those real quick. Couple from the hospital as well.
The victims that we received, and then we'll let him introduce one of our trauma surgeons. Dr. Steele?
These are all just dropping.
Right, thank you, Charlie, and good afternoon. I'm very pleased to report that of the 8 gunshot wound victims that were received, 5 of those were dismissed from the emergency department last evening. 3 individuals remain in the hospital. 1 is in stable condition. The other 2 were admitted in critical condition. They remain in critical condition in our ICU, but they both are improving, so that's good.
Wow, they're going through all the injuries right now. Pay attention.
Received, and then we'll let him introduce one of our trauma surgeons.
This just dropped.
Right, thank you, Charlie, and good afternoon. I'm very pleased to report that of the 8 gunshot wound victims that were received, 5 of those were dismissed from the emergency department last evening. 3 individuals remain in the hospital. 1 is in stable condition. The other 2 were admitted in critical condition. They remain in critical condition in our ICU, but they both are improving, so that's good news. It's my pleasure now to introduce a couple of our outstanding trauma surgeons, Dr. Dustin Neal, who serves as medical director for our trauma program, and Dr. Anu Shaw.
Hello, I'm Dustin Neal. I was told to spell my last name. It's Neel, and this is Anu Shaw. I don't know if you spell your name at all.
I don't know. My last name is Shaw, S-H-A-H.
So, as Mr. Shields and Dr. Steele mentioned, we're a level 1 trauma center. We just finished our recertification in December. We were the first level 1 trauma center in Kansas City, Missouri. And one of the big things that the American College of Surgeons wants is to know what our mass casualty plan is. We go through that during the survey. We talk to the people who help maintain it. And we practice it, as I'm sure you all are aware. We have a mock mass casualty trauma every year that's citywide. And mock patients come to us from various sites, and we practice this so that should an event like yesterday unfortunately happen, we're prepared for that. The thing that makes us special is the medical director of KC Fire is also an emergency medicine physician here. She was at the scene and was able to triage these patients appropriately, very quickly and efficiently, which ultimately allowed the sickest people to get to us first, as we're the closest hospital. The first person who arrived, as Dr. Steele mentioned, that's in critical condition, had he not made it here as fast as he had, he might not be with us now.
Oh, wow.
He sustained extremely life-threatening injuries, and fortunately, thanks to Dr. Carney's triage, our KC Fire and Police Department, he was able to get here quickly. He was the first person here, and our mass casualty plan then went into effect and got him
shout
straight
out
up
to the
the
first
operating room,
responders,
and we're able to stabilize him. And as Dr. Steele mentioned, he has improved overnight despite his life-threatening injuries, with plans for future operations today, and hopefully he'll continue to improve. Dr. Shaw.
You know, prayers, there's no... if it is what they're saying it is, prayers, there's no retaliation coming today. I mean, it's only fucking 1:30 in the afternoon, you know what I'm saying? This shit could go on for days, you guys.
Y'all.
I want to reiterate that we did have excellent coordination between KCFD, KCPD, and they did a phenomenal job on scene with their disaster response. Their coordination with University Health has allowed these patients to survive. We're very happy to say that we didn't have any deaths in the hospital. Unfortunately, there was one death from this event, but those that were critically ill were able to get to us in a timely, efficient manner so that we could provide care to them. And so the coordination between all of the departments, citywide, between all the hospitals, especially with University Health, allowed for our disaster response to be as robust as it possibly could be.
You spoke about one patient who is in critical condition. Can you talk about the other patient that's in critical condition? What's happening with them?
The other patient who was also in critical condition was the second patient who arrived to us. Fortunately, she was more stable than the first patient, but ultimately did have to go to the operating room as well. She is recovering in the ICU and improving. We're hopeful that in the next day or two, she will be able to be moved from critical to stable condition and get out of the ICU. But again, a lot of it has to do with the coordination between KC Fire and the triage at the scene to get her to us next.
All right, we have been hearing from doctors and officials at Kansas City University Hospital. They said that they received 8 gunshot victims, 5 of them today. They were happy to report have been dismissed. Of the 3 that remain, 1 is in stable condition, 2 are in critical condition in the ICU, but they are improving. One of the doctors who treated that patient, one of those critical patients, said that they received that patient in extreme life-threatening injuries. It was the first person to arrive, and because of their close proximity, they believe they were able to save that person's life. We also know that Children's Mercy received 12 patients, 11 of whom were children. 9 of those kids had been shot in the incident. 3 are still inpatient, but all are expected to recover. We're going to continue monitoring this, but now we head over to the White House. National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby, is speaking at the press briefing about some national security threats. We want to hear what he has to say.
The cost of inaction by the Congress is stark, and it's being borne on the shoulders of Ukrainian soldiers. We need Congress to pass the National Security Supplemental Bill.
The people who help maintain it.
Well, we were just enjoying the end of the parade like everybody else.
Thank you, Ashley.
This would be our second parade. We're big Chiefs fans. We had the boys with us, 15 and 12, my two boys, big football fans. So we're from Wichita, so we headed up early and got there like we did last year, made our way to the hill there. Just enjoyed our day. We did notice there was a large military presence, or at least one that was comforting. I could see gunmen on the roofs. I think a lot of people probably felt safe as well from that. At that point, the parade was over. We began to work our way towards our vehicle like everybody else. We heard a series of gunshots, and at that point, I was under the impression it was probably a jokester or somebody with firecrackers, but apparently it was not. And we were just in that sea of people there, and there's a big commotion, get them. And I just happened to look to my left and saw just a mess of people running. And one guy, it happened so fast, but he definitely didn't look like the other people. He was running for a different reason, it looked like. So we just, for all I know, I could have tackled the wrong person, but that other gentleman was there to help, and thank God.
So he tackled him too.
They were screaming, people were yelling, there's a gun, there's a gun. I was under the impression he still had the gun. Apparently my wife here grabbed the assault rifle and drug it away over here to this wall.
Wow, that's good thinking.
In the video.
That's good thinking. Get the weapon away.
I was I was.
Good
Paul
thinking.
and I were concerned he still had the gun.
Good thinking.
I began to just hit him in his ribs until the cops get there. At which point I was pulled off. I was concerned about where my family and kids were. So once I rounded them up, we got out of there.
Casey, let me jump to you really quickly on that, and again to what we've heard about this story. We're trying to get the facts right because the police chief, who's holding a news conference right now, but she's not releasing many details. We know that they have three suspects. We don't know who they are. Here's a live look, though. That is Chief Graves speaking now, answering questions by reporters. But Casey, Trey says you picked up a gun. Can you describe that moment? Was that gun from the man that Trey tackled, or was that gun just laying on the ground? Was it being held by someone? Can you give us as much detail?
He just told you, dude.
It
was on the ground.
Dropped by him when he was tackled.
He just told you this, dude.
It landed by my feet, and I looked down, and my first thought was just to get it out of harm's way, out of the way, so no one else could get to it, and because I didn't know who was who or what anyone else had plans for, so I just wanted to get it out of the way.
So did the cops, did the authorities there, did they question both of you? Can you elaborate on that?
In their defense, I was just ready to go.
We got out of there really quickly.
Well,
we have not spoken to any law enforcement. We haven't spoken to anyone from Kansas, any
What?
Kansas City organizations or anything in that regard.
Yeah, the video is spreading like wildfire. I'm sure you guys have seen it here. And the fact that Joran said running towards where someone who could be bringing additional violence to the scene, while others are fleeing, they're applauding your heroism right now. And we do too, of course. Trey, was the suspect or the man who was apprehended, were they saying anything while you were trying to tackle him down?
No, ma'am. Once I hit the man, he stumbled. Another gentleman flung him, and I landed on top of him. We were just Paul and I were just talking about keep him down, and they were yelling that there's a gun. I was just convinced that he was reaching for a gun during this tussle. So it was just definitely fight or flight was there the entire time.
A day of celebration in Kansas City turning to tragedy just as the parade celebrating the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory is coming to an end.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching some of the videos on Twitter here.
Gunshots ringing out in a crowd of nearly 1 million people outside the Union Station in Kansas City. The terrifying event unfolding Wednesday afternoon. Roughly 800 members of law enforcement were present, all rushing to the scene as police snipers scanned the crowd from rooftops.
We did everything to make this event as safe as possible. But so long as we have fools who will commit these types of acts, as long as we have their access to firearms with this level of capacity, then we may see incidents like this one.
Paul Contreras and Trey Filter seen in this video taking down a man believed to be a suspect as he attempted to run from the scene.
I mean, there was a lot of commotion. I could definitely tell that, someone was being chased. Couldn't see much. Heard that get him. I saw a flash next to me. I jumped and remember thinking, I hope this is who they were talking about.
One person killed. The victim who died identified as a Kansas City radio host, Lisa Lopez Galvin, a local DJ, and mother of two.
Aww.
Today in Kansas
Mama
City was a day to celebrate. We woke up this morning excited, and the last thing we ever expected was to have a tragedy in our family.
Among those wounded, multiple children, some as young as 8 years old.
The one word I would just use to describe what we saw and how they felt when they came to us was fear.
And authorities are still investigating a motive here, but sources close to this investigation tell ABC News the evidence so far points to this being a street crime and not politically motivated or connected to terrorism. Morgan Norwood, ABC News.
So it's just two different people from two different cliques running into each other. Let me see. This is from Kelly. Thank you for this. This is one of the videos here.
No, we tackled him. We tackled him. Yeah. When we tackled him, the gun came out. You're good. Who's the other guy? Back up, back up. Hey, I got the gun. Hey, I got the gun. You filming this? Yeah. Who was the other guy that helped me? I don't know. I think he took off already. Joker has it off. The gun is over here. Oh, he's up for the gun. No. Oh, we tackled him. We tackled him. Yeah. When we tackled him, the gun came out. You're good. Who's the other guy? Back up. Hey, I got the gun. Hey, I got the gun. You filming this? Yeah. Who was the other guy that helped me? I don't know. I think he took off already.
Wow, here's another one. Wow, here's another one. Wow. Man, what if that man, holy crap. Let me rewind that again. Somebody actually got this guy running. There he is right there. Here, let me see if I can find a way to zoom it in. Hold on. How can we zoom this in? Maybe get rid of me? There we go. We'll just do it like that. Hold on. There we go. All right. I'll play these again since it's quite larger now. You see the guy running in like a brownish jacket or something. Yeah, he couldn't get away fast enough. He was running, then he ran into the back of the group of the people.
Joker has it off. The gun is over here. Oh, he's up for the gun. No. Oh, we tackled him. We tackled him. Yeah. When we tackled him, the gun came out. You're good. Who's the other guy? Back up. Hey, I got the gun.
So the guy in the gray shirt is not the same guy we saw on TV. This is a different dude. He said we tackled him. He doesn't even. Okay, so who? So who? Huh? I thought this whole time. I thought this was the dude that we just watched.
You're good. Who's the other guy? Back up, back up. Hey, I got the guy. I got the guy. You filming this? Yeah. Yeah. Who's the other guy that helped me? I don't know.
Okay, who's the other guy that helped me? That's okay. I don't know. I think he took off, which is what that guy said. He said once we got him down and they got him down, we just took off. Okay, so the guy in the white shirt was the guy that we watched on the interview. He's the one that hit him first. So he's standing there. He's standing there. And he just turns around and hits him. The guy with the gray shirt was the one that was actually chasing him first, right? So he gets bumped out of the way. He turns around. He sees the guy running, but pushing the people to get away, not running with the crowd. That's what sparks this guy's interest and then makes him react. So now he breaks through a little bit of the crowd. Now he's starting to head to the brown jacket. The guy with the gray shirt has already did something to him, which gets him to keep pushing. Now he tackles him. And then gray shirt pretty much tackles him straight up into the ground even more. So it was a tag team effort. What's up, Mary? All right, so I'm going to pause that. Thank you, Caddy, for the link. There's going to be a let me see, a update from the hospital coming up here. So I'm going to sit here and watch for that to go live. I'm going to take you to the location here. So this is where it took place. What's up, everybody, for hopping in? Thank you. We're just doing a quick stream here to kind of cover all the updates. And then don't forget to come back tonight. We're going to be having our episode of Megyn Kelly and Howard Bloom's conversation from March. The evidence against Brian Koberger with Megyn Kelly and Howard Bloom. It'll be a part 1 that will be starting for that, and we'll be having a part 3 to the incel conversation coming up at the beginning of next week. And then if we were gonna have the Enon, the private driver, the Emma, Demetrius, Jack, Joe, all the different players. We were going to have that conversation tonight. I wasn't able to get on last night, finishing everything up here at home. But so we got kind of knocked back one day behind. So we'll be having that tomorrow night. And then we'll be doing the Kim, WSU Kim episode 2. That'll be coming Saturday night. Just as a heads up, even though there's no noties out there. All right, let me check to see if there's still... Okay, we're still waiting on News Nation. It's supposed to be live already, but they're waiting. So this is the location of where this took place. It's the west side of the Union Station. So here's Union Station. It said it took place on the west side. So when you see this video right here, and I'll take you right to it. When you see this video right here, okay, this is going to be this location right here. You see the parking lot. You see the entrance. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, because I'm not familiar with the area. I could have it wrong. And what are they all running in there for, by the way? So it looks like this was part of the route. You got the barriers. So where exactly did that take place? I want to say thank you so much, contribution call out, Rock Chalk, for another month. Appreciate your support of the channel, and thanks for all the information. There's usually for family only inside Union Station, but taking cover. And tonight is I just said the Megyn Kelly, Howard Bloom. The evidence against BK has good coverage too. Yeah, if you have it, send it. Send me a DM, and I'll go ahead and show it. Let's see, is this live yet? Nope, still waiting for News Nation. Sometimes with these press conferences, they can be a little behind anyway. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Here's the link for tonight, for tonight's show. Megyn Kelly and Howard Bloom conversation, the evidence against Brian Kohberger. So here's the link. What's up, Collateral Damage? Ticket 36, thank you. They said the shooting took place on West Side by garage attached to Union Station. I guess USPS has a garage there. Yep, that's correct. United States Postal Service and parking garage. So that's this location right here. This is Union. Why is it doing that? This is Union Station right here. And then you got USPS right there. Let me see. Contribution call out. Hold on one second. Rock Chalk for the 5 gifted memberships. April, Jeannie, Nevada, Teresa, and Julie were all gifted. Thank you very much for your contribution to the show and the community. Thank you. And glad you all are safe as well. They wouldn't let my son in. That's why he went to parking garage and told them to get down. Yes, thank you. So they wouldn't let him in, so they had to run to the parking garage. Let's see here. Let's see if there's anything. That's the Pentagon briefing. They're still waiting for the Kansas City update. And let me see here. So they got the Pentagon on right now. There's an explosion that hospitalized 7 firefighters. What? Jeez, there's a lot of shit going on today. All right, I'm not seeing anything there. Okay, they have somebody speaking. I can see the live feed on another channel. They have somebody speaking at the hospital, but it's not live on News Nation, but they're not showing it. They're showing some Pentagon briefing instead. I don't understand. All right, so this is the location. Let me see if I can get another video then. And if it drags out too long, I'm going to have to get off because we still have the show tonight at 7:30 Eastern. It's already 3. And I do need to make some supper and all sorts of stuff. Let me see here. Okay, that lady walked off the stage, so nothing's going on. This is K-Cow. Let me see. Let's see. So this is more. Then there's Eyewitness. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else. So here's more about the mother that got that lost her life.
Our first look at the person killed in Wednesday's Kansas City parade shooting. At least 21 others are recovering after being shot, some of those children. The victim is being identified as Lisa Lopez Galvan, a popular DJ for Taste of Tejano and a mother of 2. Friends say Lisa was an extrovert and she was a devoted mother. Video captured fans and police actually tackling someone and then taking them into custody. Right now, Kansas City police, they have 3 people in custody connected to that shooting. They say 2 of the 3 are only juvenile offenders. They also tell us the shooting may have stemmed from a personal dispute. Now, we know that almost 11 of those people hurt, of course, were kids. In a statement, the president says the shooting should, quote, move, shock, and shame the country into acting. The president calling for Congress to strengthen gun laws. And several of the Chiefs players have all.
But you can't. The problem is they don't know they have the mental problem before they go get the gun. Fix the fucking mental health problem first. What the fuck? What the fuck? Let's have a war on drugs, but an open border, dumbass.
Offered their support
What
to
the
the
fuck
victims.
are you doing?
The shooting is still under investigation.
My God. War on drugs, but an open border, you dipshit.
Hello, thank you for joining CBS News Primetime. I'm John Dickerson. We start immediately tonight because it has happened again. The 48th mass shooting in the United States this year, Kansas City added to the awful list of place names. A Super Bowl celebration added to the list that includes worship services, school classes, 4th of July celebrations, places where gunfire turned joy to terror in an instant. At least 1 person is dead and more than 20 are hurt. Many of them are children between the ages of 6 and 15. Officials with Children's Mercy Hospital spoke earlier and confirmed all pediatric patients are expected to make full recoveries.
The one word I would just use to describe what we saw and how they felt when they came to us was fear. This
Yeah,
is nothing that you ever want to have happen, and you especially don't want it to happen in a
You know what I mean?
situation where it is a mass casualty type of situation. You don't know how many you're going to get, what the response is going to be from trying to reunite people who might have gotten separated. And so while our staff all went into action, they have a lot of questions and need some help too.
Kansas City police say 3 people.
This is the moment that the victory celebration turned violent. Gunfire, screams, as a horrifying reality sent fans, including families, running for their lives.
wow. So okay, so this stage right here.
But that the victory celebration turned violent.
Where back to? Oh my gosh! So, whoa! So they were all running in from there. So the video that we saw, them people running in, that's the entrance they were running in, and the shit was happening right over there.
Gunfire, screams, as a horrifying reality sent fans, including families, running for their lives.
We have multiple victims over here.
You can see first responders giving CPR and fans being loaded onto stretchers.
I hear down, 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 everybody down.
800 law enforcement officers were on site.
All right, we're going to be switching to the update here.
That we all witnessed and are now trying to process hit really close to home for every single one of us. The impact is not only on the entire community, but especially on our children.
Oh, man.
As I shared last night, we treated 12 patients, 11 of which were children ranging in ages from 6 to 15. 9 of those children were treated with gunshot wounds. And I'd like to give you some good news today and update you that out of all of the children we have treated, we only have 3 left in the hospital, all of which who will recover from the injuries they had yesterday.
Oh, that's good news.
I think it's important that we talk about the tragedies and the lasting impact they're going to have on the mental health of not only the community, but all of our kids. For those that were injured, those that witnessed it, whether they were present at the rally and parade or whether they watched it on TV, and especially for all of our first responders and all of our healthcare workers who were down there responding, whether in the event itself or afterward to the tragedy as they came. We had teams located at Adele Hall and they executed flawlessly. I want to thank each and every one of them from the bottom of my heart for doing what they do best and bringing our A game. It's their commitment to the community, to the kids, and to every single one of us that makes this an amazing place to be, Children's Mercy and Kansas City. I want to make sure that the teams that were on site understand that the way those kids came to us, triaged beautifully, packaged, allowed us to treat every single one of them in a manner that nobody else can do. The tragedy in this community was met with strength, compassion, and absolute preparedness, and I could never have been more proud. Thank you guys for being here, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Stephanie Burris, who is our Chief Wellbeing Officer for our Center for Wellbeing.
Hi, y'all. Thanks, everybody, for having me today. In the aftermath of yesterday, we know that our community is struggling, our kids are struggling, as is our healthcare workforce. No celebration should be ended in a violent act. As you may know, our healthcare workforce has been struggling for quite some time. COVID just brought all that to light. And so events like yesterday really bring home that we need to support our healthcare workforce.
Yeah.
And that is part of my role and my team's role in the Center for Wellbeing, is making sure all of those first responders and all those amazing healthcare workers that responded yesterday with grace and dignity and to their best of their ability and their training. We are all grieving as you are. Many of our staff have young children and they were concerned about where they were at and couldn't locate them. Yet they showed up and they took care of the kids in the best way they knew how. Now our role is to support them. We are all grieving and will grieve in different ways. Some are heartbroken today, some will be heartbroken next week, some will be in a month. And we have resources here to help them. And that's what makes Children's Mercy so magical, is that we have those resources. We have our team on site offering in-person and virtual one-to-one support sessions. We have our wonderful facility dogs that we are blessed to have that are here providing staff support and comfort, as well as many other resources available. Now I want to introduce Dr. Shayla Sullivan, who is a child and adolescent psychologist or psychiatrist here at Children's Mercy in our developmental and behavioral health.
Thank you all for being here. I'm here really to help provide some guidance on how to talk to your children through this senseless tragedy. And I want to just acknowledge that I don't have any magic. I don't have any magical words. I struggled with this conversation with my own children last night. All of us are tired of having this conversation. So I want to encourage you to do what you can. And one of those most important pieces is to be present. We are all very busy and we are all really struck by this awful tragedy, like so many other communities across the nation have experienced. We need to turn off our media at times. We need to set our phones down and we need to be there for our kids. We need to listen first. Your natural tendency may be to talk, because that's what mine is, but really listening to our kids and what their fears are, what their questions are, and making sure we understand what they know before jumping in and sharing more information with them. This is hard, so please do take care of yourselves in this process, and please don't hesitate to reach out for help. On our website, we have some guidance for parents, so I encourage you to look at that. But one big message I would have is to seek help if you think you might need it, as opposed to waiting, because we never want to wait.
All of the resources that we've talked about are available on our website for those of you who are watching, and are available for our team as well. I wanted to thank our entire community and all of you for the outpouring of love and support that we've received. It makes it one of the amazing reasons that we work here, and I could not be more thankful. So we're happy to take some questions if you have any.
How extraordinary is it to have so many young patients, young gunshot victims coming all at once?
I pause. Extraordinary. I'm not sure I would use the word, but I think the question is well placed. It's something we prepare for, honestly, all the time, whether that's through simulation, whether that's through training. And when we knew they were coming, we mobilize in a way that you think you're only going to have to practice for. And so when they came, we were ready with multiple teams standing, waiting to do what we needed to do and to focus on their physical health first. And then, of course, that's just a first step. The next step is now the mental health pieces that will come after.
Stephanie, can you help us clarify the extent of the injuries of some of the children? And then earlier today, authorities said the youngest was 8 years old, we're hearing 6. Is that a 6-year-old that was wounded by gunfire or just injured in the melee?
So what I can tell you is just the 9 gunshot wounds. The other ones were what we would call incidental injury. And I would tell you that they were from ages 6 up. And the 6-year-old, I cannot comment on which injury they had.
You mentioned the struggling workforce in the past. Can you speak to if that played a role at all in what happened? I know obviously you said that the teams were ready. And
Can't comment. That's weird.
Could it have been improved if there were more medical staff on hand, or can you just comment about the struggling workforce in general?
Sure, I'll have Steph comment on that, and then I can add to that.
Thank you. I don't think that our first responders and those that took care of any of the patients in the hospital could have done any better. As Stephanie said, we're armed and ready to go, and they did what needed to be done. When I say struggling, they're struggling just like you and and unbelievably heartbroken that this happened in our backyard. And we all train for this. We're all prepared to take care of these children, but it doesn't negate the fact that it's still not normal for people to see many, many people wounded by gunshots. And so they are really struggling emotionally, not struggling showing up for the kids. They did their job to the fullest. Now we're here to support their mental and emotional well-being going forward.
I think a lot of us were shocked when we heard that 9 children were shot yesterday, and probably feeling relieved today that so many children have been discharged. The 3 who are remaining, can you just describe maybe what additional challenges they may be having?
I can just tell you that the 3 that are remaining, we expect a full recovery. I can't give any more detail than that out of respect for their families, but they are stabilized, they're doing well. And I think prayers and hope for them is exactly what they need.
And Stephanie, one more back to the mental health element of all this. The incident is over, but the lingering effects will be here for a while. We're hearing that a lot of kids called in out of school today. Do you expect to see that? What are the lingering effects that you're worried about?
So we're extremely worried. This is coming on the heels of a pandemic where rates of anxiety and depression doubled for young people. We have a mental health campaign that we've already been working on to expand our breadth so we can reach more kids. And now we have more kids that have experienced trauma. So yes, we're anticipating a huge increase in need in our community, and we're actively working on how to respond to it effectively. But it's a big task.
Last question for the families here. What can you tell us about what they've been telling you, what they've been feeling, seeing their kids in this situation that, frankly, no parent should ever have to see their children?
Right. The comments that we've received so far of thanks from them at this point, I want to go back to a comment I made last night and how they feel and how we responded. They're fearful. They're scared. And what they need from us in the community is support and reassurance that the first step that we can give them is back to physical health. And the next step that we'll offer is back to mental health. And how do we work to make that child and their family whole again?
Several Chiefs players mentioned that they wanted to reach out to some of the families. I'm just curious if that's happening.
So the Chiefs players have been extremely supportive, as well as the Chiefs organization. They have reached out to us, and we're managing that accordingly. We want to make sure that we're focusing on our patients and our kids and families first, then our staff, and then we will have them help with that.
Thanks, everybody.
Wow. Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
That's awesome. All right. Let me switch to this real quick. This was from the other person. Thank you, Rock Chalk, for this link.
And celebrating the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win, scramble for their lives when gunfire erupts at a rally.
A mother of 2 is killed, and an astonishing 21 other people suffered gunshot wounds. Sandra Mitchell joins us live from the KTLA News Center with new developments on this tragic news. Sandra.
Sharon, Micah, the very latest on the victims. We are just getting an update about the woman who was killed. Of those 22 people shot today, 9 of the gunshot victims are children. The youngest is just 6 years old. 3 people have been detained, and police have recovered at least 1 weapon.
Just moments after the Super Bowl victory celebration, victims on gurneys and bleeding on the ground. Mass panic, a shooting after the Chiefs rally in Kansas City, Missouri. And now the Kansas City Star is identifying the woman who was killed as Lisa Lopez Galvan, a Kansas City resident, wife and mother of 2 adult children. Several of the other shooting victims are young children.
I want to clarify that we have had 12 patients that we have treated, 11 of which are children with 9 gunshot wounds. None of those patients, all of those patients we expect to have a full recovery, none of which are in critical condition.
People in the crowd shouting, "He's got a gun." Police now confirming 3 people have been detained. Officers chased down one of the suspects, and another appeared to be tackled by fans.
I have heard that as well. I have heard that fans got involved in the apprehension or the pursuit of one of the suspects. I cannot confirm that right now, but that is something that I have heard myself.
Fan Alyssa Marsh Contreras spoke with KTLA. She says her father was one of those who took down a gunman.
My dad, along with another Good Samaritan, running, jumping, and just tackling the second offender. As they tackled him, the weapon fell out. A cop was able to secure that. After that, I just remember yelling, cops, we need cops over here. Somebody come over here. Not much longer, multiple cops come over, get on top of this guy, make sure he's clear of everything. And then after that, we were just all free to go.
From an aerial view, watch the suspect get tackled. Now a closer look. Even as bystanders wrestle with that suspect, watch as a woman in the crowd picks up what appears to be a rifle that came from the man and places it nearby.
Good thing.
Thousands of people were there. The Kansas City Chiefs players and their families, fans, the governors of Kansas and Missouri, also the mayor of Kansas City attending with his family. And his first reaction now is anger and frustration.
I don't want us to have to, in our country, for every big event, think about a concern of being shot.
President Biden has been in touch.
Unfortunately, that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's why I say I don't even, if I ever encounter somebody that's like this, I'm not going to hesitate to take them out. It's why I never even go to hell, there was a Walmart shooting that we had here locally just a couple years ago. I don't even go into frickin' Walmart without my protection, period. Because I don't ever want to be in a position where I see somebody out there doing something like that and I'm not able to help. What's up, Tommy? Yeah, man. That's why I carry everywhere I fucking go. Because I'm not going to sit there and let some other people out there become a victim. You know what? Shit. I'll step right up and fucking stop that shit myself. I don't think about mine. I think about others' protection. That's why I bring my shit. Because I would not feel, I can't sit there and let something happen like that. And no. Oh, boy. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end this. This was all the breaking news and all the updates covering this situation. We'll be back tonight. Discussing. We're going to go through some of the updates with the Idaho 4 case that we haven't gone over the last couple days. There's a couple things from Law and Crime. We're going to go over that document that dropped a couple days ago. And then we're going to start our first episode of the Megyn Kelly and Howard Bloom conversation from last March, the evidence against Brian Kohberger. So thank you all. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys in a little bit, just about 4 hours. So if you're not doing nothing, come on back. Tommy, hit me up, man. If you're not doing anything tonight, come on. See you later, everybody. Appreciate you. Prayers to all the people out there. I can't imagine. And this country, you know what? It needs to do better. Quit thinking about, because listen, if people could do this shit with a fucking banana or an apple, they would. That's the instrument isn't the problem. The problem is the mental health. And if we approach that like these amazing doctors are approaching their community, if we approach it that way, you fix it before it gets to that part. Because they're never going to not have guns. We're always going to have a brain. Come on. We got to fix this country. Appreciate you. See you guys in a little bit.